Our sad fan of the day, and this breaks my heart. This poor young girl came to see the Warriors play in Denver against the Nuggets, and she had a sign made for Steph Curry. Problem was, Curry didn't play in that one. Look, she's like, I just wanted to see my favorite player. The Warriors are giving this young fan tickets to Thursday's game when Steph is back in Denver, so hopefully she gets to see him in that
I'm going to start taking signs with Steph's name on, see if I can get free NBA tickets constantly.
See if your luck comes,
I'm the worst.
Comes to fruition at some point. You are the worst. That poor little girl. Anyways, hi, Wendy. How are you? That is Brian Windhorst. Let's stay with those Warriors because we've got some news. Perhaps Draymond Green is going to come back. The Warriors have looked absolutely terrible, just not like themselves since they've been missing Draymond Green. What does this mean for that squad?
Well, Draymond Green is he's the turnkey for everything. He unlocks all of their powers offensively and defensively. And when he was playing well earlier in the season, they were playing their best team basketball since they won their last title in 2018. So Steve Kerr has cautioned that just because Draymond is coming back, it doesn't mean that everything is going to fall into alignment. That may be true, but boy, is it going to be a psychological lift, if nothing else. What's been really plaguing them for the last 6 weeks, they can't make a shot. Their offense has been bogged down. Their guys who were hitting shots earlier this season have all been in slumps. So getting Draymond back and how he's able to get guys open shots, not to mention what he can do at the defensive end as there a guy in the middle. I would argue that Draymond Green's health is probably one of the biggest issues facing the championship race in this season. So I can't overstate the importance of his return.
I couldn't agree with you more, Wendy. It's crazy to me to see how the Warriors have fallen off since he's gotten injured. Okay, go ahead. I could go all day.
So let's move on to the Celtics then. They're the 5 seed in the East, and they're gone full Will Ferrell and old school. They're streaking like crazy. They're a game and a half back of the 2 seed. Chances in your mind that they catch the 2 seed in the East?
Well, they certainly have it in their sights. The 2 teams directly in front of them, Chicago and Milwaukee, both have much tougher schedules than the Celtics. And the Celtics are playing the best defense in the league for the last 2.5 months. I'm not sure in the 19 years I've covered the NBA, I've ever seen a team pivot at midseason like the Celtics have. They went from being extremely disappointing to fearsome with essentially the same personnel. So a big thing here, one, they have a 7-game road trip. This is one of the toughest parts of their schedule left that begins now. They've got it. It's not particularly challenging in terms of opponents, but it's long and it crisscrosses all over the country. They got to get through this. If they can stay in 4th place through this, they're going to be in good shape. Secondly, they've got to stay healthy. They are a thin team in general. They only play about 7.5 players on an average night. So any injury to them is, especially on the wing, on the perimeter, is difficult. But they get through the 7-game stretch okay. The schedule swings in their favor. They've got a real shot.
You just said that you've never seen a pivot like this. What's caused that pivot?
Defense. Jason Tatum is definitely playing much better, hitting a higher percentage of shots. Early in the season, the Celtics analytics group was saying, look, our shots are not going in at the rate they should be. Our shot quality versus the number of shots going in don't match. We are in a slump and we're going to come out of it. And I was like, yeah, but you've been doing this for 30 games. That's a heck of a slump. Well, they have. Their shots have gone in like the analytics said they would, and they stepped up their defense. And when you have a guy like Jason Tatum who can be the difference maker in a 50-50 game, it's an incredible weapon in today's NBA.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to face the Celtics, man. They are so good. And the way the Bulls are sliding, I hate to say it, the Celtics team looks like they're ready for the postseason. Speaking of the postseason, Wendy, we're going to play a game here called Playoff, Play-In, or Played Out. Clearly very self-explanatory here. And so I'll give you a list of teams. Tell me where they fall. Let's start with the Los Angeles Lakers here. Playoff, Play-In, or Played Out? What do you think?
I'm going to say play-in, and it's more of a reaction to the teams around them in the play-in. We're not talking about juggernauts either. We're all losing teams, and if I'm going to go down, I'm going to go down believing in LeBron James, and they still could get Anthony Davis back. So, look, I don't feel great about this answer, but I'll say play-in.
Yeah, okay, let's move to the Nets. I can't believe it's the Lakers and the Nets we start with in this conversation. Playoff, play-in, or play-out?
They're going to get in the playoffs, but they're going to have to get there through the play-in. They've fallen so far back that they're pretty much almost out of touch with the 6th seed. And here's some bad news. like their whole rest of their schedule is all home games. Normally you would say, boy, that's great, but home games means no Kyrie Irving. I think it's only 3 or 4 home games or road games left for them. So I think they got it. They're going to get in 8 or 9 and have to win their way in.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I was hanging on every bucket yesterday between that Pistons and Hawks game, because then if the Hawks would have won, they would have slipped to 10th in the East. Let's go to the Cavs. Man, injuries, especially to Jared Allen. This is not good for a Cavs team that's slipping. But what do you think? Playoff, play in, or played out?
Well, I'll say play off, because their schedule is favorable after they get through this next couple of weeks. They're in better shape late in the season. And while they just suffered the injury to Jared Allen, that's where they have some depth. They have one of the most deep front courts in the league, and they're hoping to get Karis LeVert back in the next couple of games. He will be a big injection to them as long as he is okay. So I think they're going to go through a rough, rocky time, but I think overall, I think they'll eke in and hold on to that 6th seed.
Okay. Shae just mentioned the Hawks, so let's go to them. Playoff, play in, or played out?
Well, they are confident that they can get into the play-in. They like what they're playing. They like their schedule. They believe they can do it, but they haven't shown consistency all year. And your point about their play last night is a great example. That's a game that they absolutely have to win. So I would say, to give an answer, I would say played out.
Yeah.
But it's only because I can't trust them, and because the teams in front of them, like the Nets, I believe in them a little bit more. So I don't know. I'm on the edge on that one.
Yeah, I agree. And the Atlanta Hawks have been living on the edge, too, which is why we're saying played out here. Okay, Wendy, last one here. The Knicks. I don't know what to make of this team either. Playoff, play in, or played out. I mean, at this point, it's got to be played out or play in, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I know what to make of them. They're just not a good team, and I'm surprised they're this bad. I can't really explain. They're the easiest one in this list. I mean, they want to prove me wrong. That's fine. Again, another team last night. That's a game they have to win in Sacramento if they're gonna make the postseason. And what's so amazing about them is they've got one of the 5 worst offenses in the league, and like it hasn't improved all year. Tibbs has changes lineups nonstop. Their offense is absolutely atrocious, and they would literally probably have to have a top 3 defense on a regular basis to survive in the NBA with how poorly they score the ball. And I think a lot of it comes back to their point guard play. A lot of it comes back to some guys maybe taking shots that they shouldn't be taking. But their offense is absolutely jaw-droppingly awful, and it has been for 5 months now, and I don't see that changing.
Okay, so played out is where we're going, right, Wendy?
I'm sorry. Did I not make that clear? Played out.
What we made clear is the Knicks' offense is atrocious, but played out for certain. Brian Windhorst, as always, thanks for the time.
Appreciate you, brother.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.